Mr. Duke Lowrie is a delegate, a Donald Trump delegate, headed off to Cleveland soon for the Republican National Convention. Mr. Duke, how are you this morning?
I'm great. It's so good to be back with you, my friend.
I am so glad you could take time for us because I've got 1,000 questions. Hopefully I can remember them all. Okay, so you're a Trump delegate, Republican Convention, Cleveland in, what is it? It's like 2 weeks from yesterday. It's pretty darn close, right?
Yeah. It's time to be having the babysitters lined out and taking care of everything you need to take care of so you can be away.
That's my first question. What kind of information, are you getting stuff in the mail from the Republican Party every day with directions and instructions and stuff like that? What kind of stuff are they sending you?
Primarily at this point, what you get is you get itineraries of scheduled events and the times so that you can make plans. They have different functions throughout. You have different organizations service organizations that have issues, and they'll put on events, and you kind of can get to pick and choose some of the events that you want to go to.
Well, pardon me. What is the planned? You're looking at it. What's the Duke Lowrie itinerary? What interests you the most about going? Other than what behind the scenes stuff really intrigues you?
Really, the platform committee is the most important thing. In the platform committee and in the rules is where you can get some really squirrely things. For instance, I'll give you an example. Like at the Democrat National Convention 4 years ago, they voted to take God or the recognition of God out of their platform. Well, and you may have remembered on national TV. I mean, man, it was they almost had a riot on their convention floor when they were trying to adopt their platform.
Mr. Duke, just a couple of weeks ago, I guess it was, that part of the Democrat platform this year is the idea that legally global warming deniers, i.e. companies that deny that global warming, should be prosecuted by state attorneys general.
Right. I mean, when you get into these conventions and you have your platform committee and you have your rules committee, you have the ideologies of people from all across the country. So it's not just you're going up there for a big party. You're going up there to actually cast a vote for what the principles that you stand on.
So what kind of input do you as a delegate have into this process?
Typically what happens is your state and the delegates that, we have all elected from our state, we get together and we kind of talk about and we know what issues, what we will take and what we'll stand for and what we won't stand for. And we will get up there as a state. I haven't seen it to where we didn't vote as a block as a state. Our delegation, we've always stood together. Even when you had Ron Paul and you had your some dissent, people you may support one candidate or the other, but when it comes to the platform, we've always been unified.
Have you been to Cleveland before? I ask that for a couple of reasons. One, I lived there twice in the mid-'70s, then the early '90s, and other than the weather, which is awful, at least during the winter, it's one of my favorite towns. Have you been there before?
I have not been to Cleveland, but I have spent a lot of time up there in eastern Ohio in the oil fields working the Utica Formation up there.
Have they, i.e. the Republican, the folks that are putting the convention together, there is anticipated there could be a little, let's be blunt, rioting, protests. Have they approached you? Has the Republican Party, have the movers and shakers, have they sent you anything saying, look, this could happen. We are anticipating this. Here's what you should do.
No, they have not. I will say this, that when some of the early planning was going on, there was a lot of discussion about security, and they just reaffirmed to us that they were putting an emphasis on security. And I think I might have shared with you the last time, or one of the last times that we had spoke, that they have put us at different kind of hotels than they normally have. Normally they would put one state delegation with another state delegation. 4 years ago we stayed at the same hotel with Texas, and because even after you have the functions, you coordinate with some of the other state delegations on those issues like platform and rules. And but this time they separated all the state delegations, and in which you're just at different hotels. And I'm not going to say where our hotel is, but
are you within walking distance? Are you at least going to be downtown, or do they put you like out in Euclid, which is 45 minutes away?
We are not close by any means.
Oh man, but what a pain. Sorry to hear. But anyway, finish your thought. I'm sorry.
Well, and I have full faith that they'll take care of things, and I'm not as concerned about security getting at the convention as much as I am in between from where you're staying to where the convention is. That's where I suspect we might see the security issues.